Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Discipline Therapy Podcast. I'm your host, EL Discipline. Alongside me is Sue Sotomayor. Um, what's going on?
Oh, same old, trying to survive in this crazy, crazy world.
Yeah,
While you're doing that, there are links in the description below on how to become part of our Patreon family and subscribe for exclusive content, bloopers, behind the scenes, Mr. Eel Discipline solo lectures of discipline therapy talk, his BDSM content, erotica posts, and writings by Mr. Discipline. We also upload his masterclass and workshops. The full videos are there. There's some collaboration shows pertaining to more sensitive topics such as sexual abuse, rape, domestic violence, transgender, children abductions, conspiracy theories, government conspiracy theories, and much, much more with myself and Mr. Eel Discipline. Once again, how to become part of our Patreon family is patreon.com/the Discipline Therapy Podcast. Mr. Eel Discipline also has 7 published books which are available for purchase now on Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com. We have them for electric version as well for Kindle and the one from Barnes and Noble. Nook. There we go. Um,
you always,
always, I always
you
forget
always
that
say
one.
that, and then you say that.
I always
You
forget
get
that.
it?
I don't know
Like,
why. And I had the Nook. I didn't have the Kindle. Anyway, once again, all the links are in the description below the video. And for our online store for merch, which I have something on. Like, who has it on? Big Brain
big brain
Energy.
energy.
You're
Oh
gonna go
shit!
to
I didn't even know that was it. I
you're
saw
gonna
you.
you're gonna go to disciplinetherapy.launchcard.store/shop. We have new stuff that hits. I just made another water bottle. It's very cool, isn't I
Yeah.
might say so myself.
Oh,
Yeah.
I gotta look
And a
at it.
bag. Um yeah.
I gotta
So
look at that. Let me see.
and last but not least, if you can't watch us on the YouTube channel, check us out wherever you get your audio entertainment. We're on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Deezer, Castbox, Overcast, iHeartRadio, and so much more. I just can't remember them all.
Yeah, Google the Discipline Therapy Podcast.
We come up.
Find us somewhere. All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know y'all fiends, and y'all know what that means. We're serving you your dose weekly of discipline therapy, where not everything is completely free. As we're on Patreon for a plethora of exclusive content for you to see, links are all in the description. But what is free is judgment free, sucker free, censor free, sensitive free, and some liberty. God and the ancient ancestors are great, and that means everything else is straight. So I invite them in all the time when I state that. That means everything else is straight. So go grab your wine, popcorn, or my favorite, roll a blunt. And make sure the children are in bed. Why? Because we have that vulgar, sometimes, well, all the time, soul food conversation. Prepare your mind to be fed. Light one up, inhale life, and exhale strife. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are tuned into the Discipline Debbie podcast.
We're
We're here.
here.
Children in bed can also be adult children. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So, um, it's an interesting topic today because I don't want to give it away, but part of like being an adult is not taking everything personal.
mm-hmm. That's true.
So that's why I say some adult children, cuz people might be in their feelings, so they could go to bed. Like
Mm-hmm.
they could go to another podcast. um
Circle back to this one though.
so we're gonna get into it. What the topic is season 17,
Mm-hmm.
episode 179.
Why isn't the solution to a lot of women's problems just be better, like it is for men? All right. So we both agreed that that comes down to accountability. We're having technical difficulties.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it?
I mean, I love it. The setup, most people don't do this,
Mm.
so
They already walk into it already nice and nice.
yeah, I mean, it's cool.
This is the real deal.
It's cool. It's cool, but people get to see the raw. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Just increase the volume. It's not have to be so close. All right. Hear me good?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So yeah, so why don't they need to take accountability, you said?
No, I said we both agreed that it's because they don't take accountability.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Um yeah, so masterclass question. This was another one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very satisfying. Um they gave the 5. What are the topics would you like to discuss? Masculine and feminine energies, frequency, vibration. How can a woman embrace her femininity? How can a man embrace his masculinity? But this is part of the situation as well, with the masculine and feminine energy. But first and foremost, I always say ladies go first. Also because I like to go in. Um,
That's true.
what do you think?
Well, I think that most people make excuses for women instead of actually holding them accountable. Um, and I feel like the prettier or cuter a woman is, the more excuses they get from them. That's not always necessarily true, but for the most part, it is true. Definitely, they're taught from young how to, be manipulative. I know because I did that with my daughter, unfortunately. Like to try to get things from their dad or whatever. Like it starts young, the manipulation game and stuff. And because of that, I think that's why a lot of women have a hard time with accountability. Either somebody else holding them accountable, or themselves, themselves holding themselves accountable. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I think.
You have, a lot of great points. I wouldn't disagree. I would piggyback off that. I think that it's not in nature. Subconsciously, men and women are not going to think it's in their nature. You
Mm-hmm.
know, this is just not common. This goes back to the season premiere, maybe the double standards.
Mm-hmm.
Even in society, societal expectations or standards are different when it pertains to both genders. So I think that has to play a factor as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like ingrained in our subconscious. We're socially conditioned to believe women don't take accountability, even
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know what that word means. Like, let's say a 18-year-old, let's say a 16-year-old is watching us. Even if you don't know what that means subconsciously, like accountability is masked into different terms.
Mm-hmm.
Could be man up, could be this is what a man's supposed to do. Comes from both men and women. Those certain expressions or terms. When we've heard these type of contexts, conversations, expressions throughout our whole entire life, through generation to generation, you see it in schools, workplace, etc. This is why oftentimes the moment you do hold a woman accountable, naturally she jumps to defense mode. I could say from my experience, I don't know about you, but I could say, you know, she jumps to defense mode or shirk and blame.
Mm.
So I'm gonna give you an example. Because all the time when a lot of these podcasts are out, they're just structured around relationship, and like we don't do that. We talk about everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna gear away to relationship because that's like very sensitive for a lot of people.
Mm.
Um, and I'm not doing it for that reason. I'm just letting you know that this is in general. So it's every type of woman. The businesswoman who's heavy in her masculine, who part of being a leader is that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say a manager of a store, regional of obviously a region, vice president, whatever, a CEO, right, has to answer to somebody. Because even the CEO has to answer to somebody.
Mm.
Let's say we get on the bottom hierarchy, like maybe the mid hierarchy, management, female management. They are in charge or leading men and women. Something happens, and whatever happens, you use your own imagination. Most likely, from what I've seen and heard, so this is my experience, and people out there, they could agree, disagree, or maybe you've experienced this as well, or even you, Suhey, you can chime in. Um, from my experience, it has always been the shirk and the blame. I can speak factual, like this has happened because I've been in the hierarchy over women in positions of power. So I've been a general manager in charge of key holders who are women, supervisors, assistant managers. So this has happened to me, like the littlest thing, and it's so quick. It's so, like I said, it's subconscious.
Mm.
Yo, I was in the garbage done yesterday. Ran and just overseed your store. It's not my store, but I just went there to go check up on you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was in the garbage done yesterday. You know that this is not a good look. It's right on the sales floor or whatever. Oh, I wasn't here last night.
Mm.
Like I said, it's quick. I do everything right. I do everything right. I wasn't here last night. Indirectly, it's them.
Mm-hmm.
See the shirk and the blame? Even indirectly. Um, so I've dealt with those type of circumstances. I've dealt with circumstances where deadlines, and it was like, oh well, I'm not gonna take the fall for this. It's this. That woman that I asked about the garbage, I went back at her and said, yeah, but you're running the place,
Mm.
to force her to take accountability, and she was speechless. So this is not just relationship. Like I said, like what you're saying follows up with it. Nature.
Mm.
Nature. Right? It's nature. It's subconsciously. Nature.
That's true.
So I think that most of the time, especially these women getting into these trades that men have dominated in for such a long time, they already know that they're coming in there with a disadvantage. So they gotta, in their mind, they gotta hustle the most. They gotta do this. Like I gotta show them that I'm good, so I could hang. So I can never look like I suck, because then it will go back to how they think of us as women.
Mm.
This could be a subconscious thought. That's why that example of the garbage situation. Oh well, I wasn't here last night.
Mm.
Me, I get in that situation. It's like, oh, I apologize. I'll be better. I promise next time it won't be like that. I'll talk to the staff. Because just innate, I know if I'm dealing with a VP, a CEO, whatever it was, right, that was a superior to me, I know that it looks foolish for me to say what she said.
And
But
they
that's
don't want to
just,
hear that either.
but that's just with experience as a man, that it's harder. It's, you're not gonna get that sympathy. It's that man up you heard all your life. It's like whether it's friends, family, women, man, society, right? So what would you get
Mm.
to blame?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? As a man, if you're aware of that, you know what I'm saying? So I think that going back with what you were saying, it's in the entirety of now even the woman highly in her masculine gets in her feminine because that's a feminine trait
Mm.
to not take accountability, to not want to level up, to blame, especially if you know you're the leader. It's a feminine thing because like it's a masculine thing to be a leader.
I think some women want to level up.
Yeah, they're in their masculine. You're not listening.
No, I
You're not listening. It's in a feminine nature to, even if you say it sounds cruel, to blame, to shirk, to not take accountability, to whatnot. If you see a feminine woman, no matter the age, that's doing that, she learned that from a man. She was held accountable. Fathers, brothers, uncles, boyfriend, boss. And she just knows that's the right thing to do. That's how I answer that. But like you're dealing with women that, like you were saying, I'll go back to the first part of this segment of, yeah, they're not used to that. And maybe it's not verbatim. You know what you said, right? In summary, they're not used to it. So by nature, why would I take responsibility for something I'm not used to, that I never been held accountable for? That looks crazy. No, I'm gonna blame. It's the best way to do it. Get the attention off me. I'm good. I'm a quick learner. I'm the best. You know what I'm saying? No, it ain't me. It ain't me. Maybe it's you. You gotta pick better. Maybe you gotta, man up. Maybe it's you. Maybe you can't handle me. So it's just natural, I believe, for that. And I'm not picking on women. Like they hear this and misogyny, they throw all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? They feel away, and it's okay. Those are the unhealed people, men and women, that can't take this. It's intense, right? It's passion. It's the truth. You speak truth to power. A lot of people can't handle that. But this is what changed the landscape of the culture. Education. And then you take that knowledge and you apply it. And that's power. You know what I'm saying? So some people can't handle the information. It's too much. It's reinforcing my trauma. It's too much. And that's the lack of accountability, which is in direct correlation with this topic, which is funny.
It's true. So that's not just women. That's
So the
anybody.
shoe fit, yeah, guys too. The shoe fits, you get sensitive. Like of accountability.
Definitely. Now also, obviously, it's not for all of women's problems that is a man up thing. But in case you couldn't tell, we're focusing on accountability. You know what's funny is that I had forward you a video. I think it was a video or just like the words of somebody wrote it down, that she got caught cheating on her boyfriend, and he broke up with her and left, and like took his stuff and left. So she went to the guy that she was cheating on her boyfriend with, and he told the guy, I need help paying my rent.
Yo, thank God you remember that. I'm gonna make that pop up on the screen because I forgot. And when you sent me that, I was like, yo, and we're gonna talk about it for this episode. I forgot.
Wasn't
which
that
is a rare
it
thing.
was like classic what this person, you're gonna see because he's gonna make it pop
I'm gonna
up.
make it pop up on the screen, yeah.
But the whole thing was like, so she asked the guy, can you help me out with my rent? And he was like, your financial, stability or instability is not my problem. So she was like, it's his fault that I cheated on my man and he can't even hold me down. See where the,
yeah,
the accountability,
he's broke
with his
with
broke ass. Meanwhile, why did you cheat on your man?
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. But you guys are gonna see it when he makes it pop up.
Yeah, so like most people don't want to be held accountable, because I think it goes back to one of the episodes that we had prior, when we, maybe season 12, 13, when I asked the question, is it possible to improve without accountability? I don't know if that was the right way, or maybe it was
Something like that. I
something
remember.
like that. So I believe that taking accountability is taking responsibility, and then the next step is to level up, like step up. So I think that it's just natural for the feminine nature And people could look this up. And now I'm talking spiritual. Now I'm talking spiritual. It's just natural for the feminine energy, the feminine nature. So feminine energy, a man who's highly in that is included in this.
Okay.
So it's just natural for feminine energy to be complacent. Like the masculine is doesn't feel comfortable being complacent. It's almost as if it makes them feel depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Like they gotta keep moving, they gotta keep striving, whether it's metaphorically or literally. They gotta keep leveling up, they gotta keep being better, they gotta keep stepping up, they gotta keep doing more things. It's just natural for the feminine energy to be complacent. This is where the feminine energy thrives.
Mm.
The masculine energy thrives under discomfort,
Mm.
pressure. That's what builds the masculine. So women are in this too because there's masculine women or like women who are heavy in their masculine.
Mm.
So that's the byproduct of them being that because of trauma,
Mm-hmm.
this pressure, stress. I had to do it early, maybe only daughter, whatever it is, constant breakup, right? Oppression, whatever, bigotry.
Mm-hmm.
That led to where they are. So when you look at it, right, it's just natural for the feminine energy to just not want to take accountability because that means responsibility, and then that is equal to stepping up because it goes back full circle where I say the feminine energy thrives under comfort.
Mm.
That's how it's able to retain its feminine energy.
Well, I think that a lot of times people, I mean, in general, I think they don't like taking. Well, I guess since we're talking about mostly women that don't take accountability, it's uncomfortable. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's something now you have to look inwards and be like, oh shit, I fucked up. And how many people like to admit, damn, I fucked up. I shouldn't have done that. I thought I should have rethought it or I should have done it. Nobody likes to hear that, which makes it hard. So when somebody's doing it, you gotta, step outside of your ego. Put that shit aside. This is something if you respect this person or you trust this person and this person is telling you, you listen, you're not doing something right. You're doing this XYZ or whatever. Take a step back, check your ego at the door, because this is for your own good.
And
So,
another thing too is, which I want to make very important, most people think when you make an offense that taking accountability is going publicly or even to your partner or whatever family members and apologizing. Say you're sorry. That's taking accountability. It's not. Which people don't really look in depth with because it's just like somebody who's manipulating,
mm,
right? You see where I'm going with
yeah.
this, right? If you see where I'm going with it, finish it.
I mean, the way I took it that you're saying is they can say they're sorry, but not mean it, not think that they did anything wrong.
Exactly.
They're just yes, almost like somebody yesing you to this. Like, yeah, I'm
Exactly.
sorry, my bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's actually like change behavior has
Yes.
to do with actions,
Yep.
not words. So I think that's a big misconception as well. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I think that's a big misconception as well. We need to make that aware.
Yeah, but those people I feel like that want to hear that person say I'm sorry, they're the types of people that like to say, "See, I told you so." You know what I mean? Like, that's why they want to hear the person say, "You're right. I'm sorry. You see, I was right. I was right the whole time. I told you so." That's what I
Mm,
think. Like if because I don't think a person that is holding you accountable, right, for the reasons that we stated to make you a better person or whatever, um, is gonna want to hear you say that. As long as you say, you know what, I get it. I understand what you're trying to say. That to them is okay. They get what I was trying to say. It doesn't mean all right now. Tell me that you're sorry for what you did. That's who you understand what I'm trying
mm. Yeah, I think that
to say.
no, I 100% agree too. I think you're on point with this show.
Mm, mm,
Um do you believe that cuz this is important too. Do
well,
you believe that women should hold men accountable as well as men holding women accountable? Whether it's in society, whether it's a workplace, whether it's um, relationship, do you believe that women should be held accountable by society, other women, men? Men should be held accountable by society, other women, men.
I think, yes, I do. I think that if a person needs to be held accountable, and there are other people around who have done it, or can help and assist, or shine the light, I think that they should. That is how a nation grows. That is how a people grow. If you can't hold, who's holding Donald Trump accountable? You know what I mean? Like, that man, that's a person, that's a man, sort of, kind of, that should be held accountable, and nobody's doing it. Not a man, not a woman, not nobody. So I do feel that both women, men and women, should be held accountable for their actions by whoever the offended party was, and then the rest of society.
Um, so I disagree. Only I think that they're gonna say that I'm being biased. I think that men should be held accountable by men, and I think that women should be held accountable by women and men. Like, if you're a guy and you decide to work in an establishment where the woman is the boss, you have to follow. You have to follow that. So that's an exception to the rule, I would say. You have to follow that or quit another job. You know what I'm saying? So you have male management or authority. Um, but society and relationship, it just comes down to, I think it's dangerous when women are holding men accountable. Um, and I don't think they should do it because they're not women. Like, it's them being heavy and they're masculine if they're doing that. Now, some people will say, well, the woman is holding him accountable in senses that's not aggressive. So he's stepping up because she sees more potential in him or whatever. That's not her holding him accountable. That's not her holding him accountable. We've seen this through, like, film. We've heard this. Probably your girlfriends have said it. I told him stop doing it. Told him stop cheating. This is what's gonna lead to. Da-da-da. She's trying to hold him accountable. Clearly, he's not doing it. He's probably that yes man, that I'm sorry guy, being
Mm-hmm.
fake. It's not working. Um, it's not effective. That's the word I'm looking for. It's not effective. It's laughable. Most men will be fake. They'll be yes, but in their mind, I don't respect you, bitch. You don't have a dick. Like, what you know about doing what I'm doing? But he's not gonna say that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't worry. I'll never do it again. I'll never do it again. Even in his mind, he knows there's double standards. So it's not. But if I tell him, yo, it's not right. Do this. If he gonna respect me, he's gonna respect me. You might not like me, but he's gonna respect me. Maybe at first he's like, yeah, fuck this guy, discipline or whatever. But then he gets on board. It's a
Mm.
lot easier to get men on this masculine energy than it is for women.
It's
Because
almost.
men are leading it. It's a lot
Mm.
easier. As you can see, they're getting on board.
Mm-mm.
Women aren't able to fool anymore. Like back in the day, yeah, I could
Mm-hmm.
manipulate and do this. Men are starting to wake up. Why? Because other men are in there versus women, because it's very, very hard. Like, I think it would be equal if we had those same men and women holding women accountable, but it's not. It's more men being held accountable to get more in your masculine energy, do the right thing. So I don't think it should be, because I think it's dangerous. It comes down to me trying to tell um, Steph Curry how to shoot better.
Mm.
And I never played basketball in my life. I just have an idea. Well, I went to the high school gym and I shot a couple of, maybe I got lucky. I
Mm-hmm.
got in the hole 3 times in a row. You know what? I'm going to the NBA tomorrow. I'm gonna tell Steph Curry this is how he shoots. Because during clutch situations, or LeBron James, Kevin Durant, when pressure situations, you guys are just not doing it.
Hmm.
So this is how you shoot. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, that's
Never
insane.
did it. Don't live it. I'm not that. Operative word. I'm not that. You're not a
Mm-hmm.
man. You're not a man. It could be dangerous for the woman doing it in a
I could
relationship
see in a
with a guy who
relationship.
doesn't have emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
who's a hothead, could be dangerous versus the guy doing it. You know
No,
what I'm saying? So
I could agree with that.
yeah,
With
so I think it's dangerous. I don't think the women should do it. I think it's a lot easier for the women to be held accountable by the men and women, um, because they're just natural leaders. It's in their DNA to follow. I mean, sorry, they're natural followers. It's in their DNA to adhere to rules, directions, and stuff of that nature, and follow things meticulously. And want to serve and want to make you happy. Oh, I want your approval. I want your approval. That's feminine energy. I want your approval. Did I do a good job? You know me account. Did I do a good job? Masculine men are not like this. So I think it's just common and it's easier and it's gonna be more effective if it's that way. So I disagree with that in society. Relationships, same thing. I don't think the woman should be holding the men accountable in that regard. Girl, send him a clip of my show. Send him a clip of the stuff I'm saying. Don't say it to him. That could be dangerous. He's gonna and if he's not that hothead and abusive and stuff of that nature where it could take it to that level or being verbally abusive, he could build resentment. So he's being now passive aggressive. He could build resentment towards you. Oh damn, she doesn't respect me. She telling me to step up and oh, she doesn't respect me. And that resentment comes in different forms of now intimacy being withheld. So be careful with that in that regard. I don't think so. I think that it's very dangerous because I've heard it. Oh yeah, you should equally hold each other accountable. It's not successful that way because that's like a egalitarian relationship. That's equal. It's like that's always dangerous to go in there with men and women, which is the participants.
Mm-hmm.
That was there. At the master class saying how can you get more in your masculine and feminine energy. So I think that's what it is. Like you getting more in your masculine energy, you're holding her accountable. The woman doing it, she's getting in her masculine energy. She's out of her nature. It's an imbalance now. It's dangerous. Now, holding other women accountable in a sense of being more feminine is great, but holding women accountable for being more masculine is hard. Oh, leave him, girl. Da 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 da. Go get your bag. This is how you get your revenge. Go harder in the gym. Get your bag. Da da da. He's gonna miss you, and then he's gonna come back to you. That's crazy to me. Like, don't say that. That's like setting the women up for failure. That's not how a positive way to hold women accountable. They're just projecting, which is dangerous. Like as a life coach, you should never project. Like I'm not gonna go in there and tell people I'm a dominant and I live a BDSM lifestyle. And it's like, well, you should get into this because
Mm.
this is the right way to this. No, if you want to, then you could be taught that, and then these are the steps to get into it or whatnot. But it's like the frame of the man. That's what you should get into because there's facts that there's positive results. You know what I'm saying? So in that regard, it's like pushing that upon people based off projection, which is like common for emotional women, sensitive women, and even men, is dangerous. I don't think it should be done.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree with what you said, especially with the in like the relationship, like the personal relationship. That you know that I agree with, but in society, I don't agree with that. Only because of where we are in society right now and who's running the country
Yeah,
right
you're
now.
talking about one aspect, so I
Yes,
get it.
but also
But
like he's not a woman, and like they're trying to pass a law to stop women from getting abortions. And I'm not talking about like the women who, yes, stop the ones who think abortion is like freaking popping candy and stuff. But for like necessary, for medical necessity, that's crazy talk. And what does he know about, or any man for that matter, that's trying to push, the laws like that on women. But So
That's
yeah, and it's not just
that's
that's
kind of
not,
like what a feminist would say.
but it's true. What does he
Yeah.
know about a woman's body?
You see, that's kind of like what a feminist would say.
But it's
But
but is it not true though?
here's the thing. What medical situation you be talking about with the abortion, where it'd be the exception to the rule?
Sure. When it's stuck in the fallopian tube and it's gonna burst, if you don't cut that whole fallopian tube out with the pregnancy, the mother will die. A young girl that gets raped, let's say she's 8, 9, and and she gets pregnant, she can, her body's not formed yet
Hmm.
in to deliver a baby. She can die.
Yeah.
Any situation where the mother that's that's pregnant, if she goes full term or whatever, can die, that's it's medically necessary to remove that fetus.
So I'm gonna give you an example. I don't believe. I don't want to debate with you, but I don't agree that you should make a rule based off one or two people, one or two
But
circumstances,
it's not
circumstances that don't happen every day.
this is a big
I'm gonna
circumstance
give you
though.
an example. This woman don't work for me anymore, you know, but I had a supervisor who I was managing. And once a month, this would happen. She gets on her cramps. She had bad ones. And she wants special treatment. Oh, she would be back and forth in the bathroom, staying in the back for like almost 30 minutes. Um, Whatever it is. And I used to say, yo, go home early. Oh, I don't want to miss the money. Da da da. This, that. I'll deal with it. She wanted special treatment. One day I was off. And she texts me, I got bad cramps today. Cause I allowed that one time. Okay, I allowed that one time. It's not gonna happen again. I said, listen. She said, I might leave early. I said, listen, make sure the other supervisor that you're working is aware because it's just y'all two. At least he could get a break. Because then he's gonna be by himself. And I'm not coming in. I got things to do. At that time, I didn't have a lot of employees. So in that moment, she said, okay. She leaves 10 minutes later. The guy supervisor's texting me, hey, is everything okay? Blah, blah, blah. Left. Didn't say anything to me. So I call her. What's going on? Yo, I told you I had bad cramps. You agreed that you were going to stay there till at least 1 o'clock. She opened. She opened the place. He was closing. So now I'm like, you think that's fair to him because you got cramps and stuff like that? Like she's like, oh, I told you I was gonna leave early or whatever. I'm like, this is not a debate. I'm surprised that you're going back and forth with me. Listen, go to the doctor, get something prescribed or whatever it is. Every woman goes through the same thing every month. Maybe yours is more severe, but the other woman, but I can't give you special treatment because you're a girl. You and him are on the same level. That's not fair. I don't do that. One of the last shows I said that I don't do that. The double standards. Women take out garbage too. Yeah. Yeah. Men like me are great for society because I don't do that. Pretty chick? No problem. You gonna work for me? Trust me. You gonna hustle too? You don't get a pass because you pretty. So I said to her, figure it out. Then I'm gonna write you up the next time you do it. Figure it out. She's going back and forth, da 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 da, this, that. I said, figure it out. What you did was not acceptable, not professional. And he told me that you didn't tell him. So God forbid, what happens there? Anything can happen there. You're not thinking in that regard. You're thinking with your bodily fluids. I get it. I get it. But can Midol help? Can Tylenol help? You know what I'm saying? Like, can we figure something out? Hung up the phone. Didn't wait for her to do that. Argue back and forth or whatever it is. I'm not gonna make special rules for you. So I don't believe it. We need to make it a standard. We need to make it a standard for two parents to be in the house. We need to make it a standard. Women can't get incentivized for not having it. You can't get welfare because that's going to make her fight submission. Oh, I could just get welfare. Fuck you, nigga. I'm getting my bag, and on top of that, I could do a job that's off the books. I got money coming everywhere. Government assistance, this, that, boom, boom, get over it. This is the bad thing. We can change that circumstance. Now, we can't change the rules for one or two people or one circumstance that's not occurring all the time with every woman. That's what I agree. I'm not trying to debate with you, but I'm just telling you my mindset. And I'm speaking from a real life experience to make you understand and everybody else understand. Because I don't think highly emotionally, I think logically. The logical thing to do is give incentive for two-parent households. Maybe they listen to me. Maybe they listen to me. Give incentives. Don't give incentives for one parent because there are more incentives for one parent household than two. That can help and get more education in schools of being more in your masculine and feminine energy because that is paramount. So you can help raise the next generation. So that girl, here we go full circle, is not put in that circumstance to possibly get raped. You know what I'm saying? The other circumstance you mentioned, that you can't help. That's unfortunate. That you can't help. But the situation with the grape, you can. You can. Most likely that happens because of circumstances like maybe she's walking alone, maybe walking in the dark at night, wasn't taught by a man, her boyfriend, her father, to not do that. I don't care if you've been living there for 14 years. You never know who just moved there, who's a psycho. Always think helping the woman think logically. The father does that. The man does that. The boyfriend does that. The dominant leader does that.
What
The
happens when it
mentor.
is the father?
That's why, I just said that we need to have schools for men and women to be in their masculine energy. The man's in his masculine, he don't do that. He's conscious, he don't do that. We need more education in that regard. Maybe this type of platform is that.
Yep.
We influencing society. That's the only thing. It's like it's hard because we can't control those circumstances. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna tell you what to do. But I think you shouldn't put a rule based off one circumstance. Look at the statistics. Is this happening every day with every woman and whatnot? And if it is, like, let's say the woman's getting raped at a very young age, not by a relative, but out there, what are the statistics? Like, what's going on there? Like, look in depth of why that happened. Rewind and look in depth of what happened. Did she grow up without a father? Is the mom working two jobs? And if she's working two jobs, is she a street rat? So she's in the street all day, bringing different niggas over, doing this, running trains, whatever, this and that, going out there in society, not buddying up, not having a man she can trust, her brother, if she grew up with uncles, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? The education is paramount. This is the man getting his masculine to hold the woman accountable.
I mean, there should be education.
Part of holding her accountable is educating her, helping her think more logically than emotionally. And there are circumstances you can think emotionally as a woman, but this is the logical aspect to protect yourself. Don't dress provocative, even if all those girls are doing it. The father is very, very important. The good man, the good father does that. Walk upstairs. You're not going out like that. If he's educated and conscious, he can teach her why, explain why. And if it's consistent, I promise you, Sue, I promise you, 110%, I promise you, she's going to get on board. And she's going to lead that through her life. When she gets in a relationship, let's say she gets with a beta male, she don't do it. Even if he's saying, oh, it's cool, you should do that, you're boring or whatever, it's not in her to do it. It's not in her to do it because it's ingrained in her what the possible bad ramifications will be, shame and all that, like bad accountability with it. So she holds herself accountable for what she learned. So we got to look to like these people's like chronicles. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta look into the chronicles. Like we gotta look into their past. Like what is their background? How are they being raised? Where are they at? Where's their parents? Is social media raising them? Are modern people raising them? Kids having kids, not knowing how to raise them. This is paramount to know. You know what I'm saying? So there got to be more education on getting us more in our core energy to have a better society and generation. That's what I believe. So I don't believe that certain people should be the exception to the rule, and that should be the rule because of a few people. I don't believe that. I think that makes society worse because, like we were talking about with the unknown double standards. Not everybody's gonna like use that in a positive way. Some people are gonna take advantage of that. Oh, I could do that. Okay, great. The chick that's crazy, feminist mentality. Oh, I'm gonna just fuck raw all the time. Fucking niggas different week. I'll just get the plan B. I'll fuck the plan B.
Not no more.
I'll go to the clinic. I'll do this
Can't
shit
do
all
that
the
either.
time. That's what I'm saying, though.
You're
If it
done with
was
that.
intact, if it was intact, certain people will take advantage of that. So that's why I'm saying, like, certain laws are created for the bad people to stay. Like, yo, you put this certain law because of emotions and how we should feel. Yo, it put more people at risk.
Exactly.
Three people you want to save. 3 people you want to save. Now 1,500 are taking advantage of that, and it's making it worse because you, Sue, are the president of the United States, and you're making a rule for 3 people.
What
I'm
do you
just
mean?
giving you an example because of
People
emotion.
what?
Because of emotion.
Emotion of what? What are we talking
The
about? You
grape
lost-
situation,
and what?
for
Getting
abortion.
an abortion?
Yeah,
That's not emotional. That's medical.
you're not listening.
I am
You're not listening. Emotional in the sense of those things of how you should feel for those specific people because you're not thinking logical of, is this happening every day with every woman? That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna
So
Google right
so
now
for
real
the
quick
for
before we
the
gotta
four
go.
for the 4 people that it's being done to, right? That you're making the rule for. What happens to those 1,500 who are taking advantage? They're making society worse. They're making society worse. That's my point.
Right, but you're making it sound like those types of medical things are far less. That's not how it is. These types of things happen all the time, every day. And because of these, new laws that are passed, doctors are afraid to do their job. That is a problem. Doctors are. There was this woman who was pregnant. She developed an infection or something like that, and all they had to do was clean her out.
Okay.
And they didn't do that, and she died, and she left her 6-year-old son. There was another woman that the exact same thing happened to.
The thing is, move to a different country. That woman has that issue. Women have that issue. Move to a different country. This goes back to the subordinate and the boss. You know how I am in the job. You signed up for
That's
this.
crazy.
I'm not gonna be consistent. I'm gonna be consistent with how I am. I'm a man of my word. If I say I'm gonna write you up, I'm going to. If I say you do this, you will be fired. And I will do it for real. We're in a relationship. You keep doing this. I'm letting you go. I'm releasing you. I'm a man of my word. So you're going to abide by a standard that's here. If you don't want to abide by it, you get with another man. You get with another boss and you go to a different country. That's how I look at it. If you don't make the rules here, then you abide by it or you protest. And you protest and you protest and you protest, and then maybe something happens when you protest. But there's no middle ground. We could complain about it, we could bitch about it, we could cry about it, but there's no middle ground. The boss is the boss, and if you're choosing to be there, you abide by it. You might not like it, but you abide by it, or you leave the job, you leave the relationship, you leave the country. That's how I look at it. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts on why isn't the solution to a lot of women's problems just be better like it is for men? Well, like I stated earlier in the segment, it's not the answer to all of women's problems, clearly, but in this topic specifically, we're talking about accountability. And like I said earlier, um, women weren't taught how to be accountable. And I think when somebody's trying to hold anyone else, accountable, it's an uncomfortable feeling. And, um, a lot of women, instead of being held accountable, people make excuses for their behavior, what they said, etc. So the only thing I can say is, to the women, if you want to, be better, always work on yourself, put your ego aside, and don't take things If somebody is giving you constructive criticism, don't take that as a bad thing. Use everything that somebody tells you, if they're trying to hold you accountable, or giving you constructive criticism, as something to make yourself better. It's a learning process. You're learning something new, a different way for you to handle whatever situation that was. So just all you guys have to do is just tweak how you see things. Don't be so sensitive and take everything up the ass. Just, take a step back and see, ask yourself, is what they're saying, is it true? Can I, if I do XYZ like they suggested, will it make, this better for me? You never know.
Yeah, I like those final
Thank
thoughts.
you. Thank you.
Um, I think helping this, I'm just gonna piggyback because I think you said a lot of great things that I was gonna say. I think to be able to have this intact, it has to be almost like a law. It has to come from men and women in every fashion. So when the woman goes out, she's held accountable. When she's in the house, she's held accountable. When she's in a relationship, she's held accountable. Second nature. Part of the problem is the fact that we've been conditioned and we're stuck in the matrix. You have to unlearn now because a lot of it is social conditioning. So this is why it's very, very hard. Like when I get with modern women, we'll say, even traditional women who are not sure and they're fighting submission a little bit. This is what I mean. Maybe it wasn't in their household. Oh, I left the house early. Like, come on, I've been independent for so long. Society don't hold women accountable. Dude, my friends don't. Other guys I dated don't. I mean, I see a little magic with you. I see you're amazing and special. But, I mean, I could do half of it. Not all. This ain't a law. It has to be that. That's why I've said in past podcasts, these toxic beta males ruin it for guys like me. So now I meet the woman who, I'm visually attracted to, mindset maybe, but she got so much trauma because of you. And I'm not willing to put in the work because I'm tired. I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to possibly put in the work of 3 years and you shit don't change. That's weird and scary. Wasting my time. So I think that it has to be society as a whole. And then, wherever she goes is reinforced because this happens for men. Wherever we go in the relationship, clearly, with family, with your boys, with other women, in the job, in society, as a little kid in school, Timmy, don't hit her. Men don't do that. She hits him. Oh, she likes him. She's just playing around. It's just fun. Don't listen to it. Sexual harassment. Oh, she's flirting with you. Yo, bro, fuck her, man. I got a wife at home. It's okay. She's playing with you. It ain't serious. Sexual harassment. There's no proof on each end. Sexual harassment. Oh, it's hearsay. Hearsay. Oh, we gotta investigate this. The woman said it. We gotta really go in depth. But there's no proof. But because she said it, same thing with the cop. Ex-girlfriend goes in there try to get retaliate against you. Crazy chick talking about, oh, he did this. Not true. Don't have no text messages, no audio, nothing. No video, nothing. Now, cop quick to come and get you. We'll get the facts later. Shoot first, ask questions last. The woman is laughable. Imagine if I go there to the cops and tell them what happened. They were looking at each other. Ha ha ha. Are you joking? You don't quit your day job. You should be a comedian. How will they take that serious? So it has to be a unit. It has to be a unit to instill this because men don't have a problem stepping up because we're constantly being reprimanded in the entirety by everybody. We need to make that the standard for women too. But not in the sense of manning up, obviously, in a sense of womaning up. It's not a word, but I made it up. Being more in your feminine. Hold them accountable for being in their masculine. Make that the exception if they're working, if they're in a dominant position or whatever it is. Got no choice in doing that in that regard. But hold them accountable when they're bringing that same energy in relationships. Hold them accountable when they're going out dressed provocatively because that's them getting in their masculine too. The masculine is a show off. Look at me. V, booty. That's the masculine. Not like in that sense, but show off, boasting. The feminine don't do that. She's reserved. Or maybe he, if he's in his feminine, reserved. They're not cocky, arrogant. It's masculine. Shit, man, I should have another masterclass about this shit. It's a lot of people who they're uneducated. And this is why they're not able to be successful in job, society, relationship, etc. Leading a family, possibly. I'm talking about men and women here. So I think it has to be a big cohesive unit, but we're talking about the women for the women. It has to come together as a group. I do my job and I do the right thing. When I get women coming in here, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's in a relationship, they're held accountable. It's not, oh, she's the baddest chick I ever hired, and him and her are managers. But you know what? I'm not gonna make her do that. She's talking lip and all that stuff. He never does that. Oh, I'm not gonna write her up. I'm not gonna reprimand her because she's cute. Yeah, that's what those beta males do. Those pussy niggas, I call them. Beta. They're horny. Oh, I just hired her so I could look at her every day. She'll get away with murder. Those guys are bad to be in those powerful positions because they reinforce that. So she getting her way at the job. She's doing the same thing in the relationship. She's doing the same thing in society. She's confronting the boyfriend. Yo, my boss don't even do that. I don't have, what? You gonna try to do it? Fuck you. You see? They're part of the problem. These guys are part of the problem too. Big reason. So in summary, the accountability that women don't have, men are to blame. That's what it comes down to. I'm not biased up here. I keep it a buck, a stack. Let me reiterate. Males are to blame because men is divine. And if he's in his divinity, he's masculine. And the masculine energy is always going to hold the feminine accountable. Even the baby girl, your niece, your daughter, whatever. That's a man in his masculine. We need to bring masculinity back. It's not just muscles, whatever, tattoos, height, and all that. No, it's an energy. We need to bring this back. It's a lack of it. Nowadays, men are getting shamed for being intense, passionate, and whatnot. They don't got the fire no more. They're not hungry. They're not hungry. They're retaining all that. Why? To connect with the woman. They follow the woman. And that's not successful. Clearly, it's not. Because she'll cheat on you with trying to cheat on you with someone like me. Clearly, it's not successful. Eventually, she's going to do some disrespectful shit and hold resentment towards you. Clearly, it's not successful. We see this. It's facts. It's out there. Google. When we are not in our core, that's on a path to chaos. We need to get back there. The woman getting in her feminine energy, she'll naturally not hold accountability unless she has a masculine man. Then she learns to. It's the only way it happens. And other women. But it gotta be respect. That's the main component. If they don't respect you and trust you, they're not gonna do it. That has to be a big factor, respect and trust. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, you were tuned into one of the most raw, uncut, unapologetic, real, no holds barred, the most unheralded but soon to be heralded, unapologetically dominant. You know what I'm saying? And feminine. But we here. Sometimes get the feminist mentality, but we knock that out real quick. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about aware. You know what I'm saying? It's all about being aware. Like sometimes some women don't even know what they're saying is feminist. Sometimes they don't know. Right? And then it's like, oh, if you respect that man, if you respect him as a business partner, whatever he is, your boss, dad, whatever, brothers, uncle, if you respect them, then you will look into, like you were saying, let me research this and see if it's right. And let me try to test trial and error. Let me test it and do it this way and see if it will be a positive result. And most likely it will. And then you start to do it. It's all it is. It comes down to respect and trust. You're not gonna listen to somebody if you don't respect and trust them. That's why these young kids that I talk to, like I could relate to them, especially the black kids, Latinos. I could relate to them. I look like them. They see me, whether they in the hood or whatever schools. They see me. They hold me in high regard. So the stuff that I say is paramount for them. I don't talk crazy for reasons I know I'm influencing. You know what I'm saying? All right. Once again, you were tuned into one of the most raw, uncut, unapologetic, real, no holds barred, conversation stimulating, after dark discipline therapy podcast. Peace.
Peace.